Hello everyone, welcome to Hobby Talk, and this is our little channel update for the community and just to let people know what's going on in the studio, what kind of content you could expect. Normally Julie and I do this together. Unfortunately, Julie cannot join me for this one, so I will just update you guys very quickly on what's going to go on in the studio. So first things first, before we begin, I'd like to give a warm welcome to all our new subscribers. We're up to 2,200 subscribers. That's awesome. So thank you very much for coming on board, and I hope you'll enjoy your stay. Also, we want to give a very warm welcome to our patrons and YouTube members. Thank you very much for your support. And for all of you that have supported us on Wargames Vault with my little magazine, Scratch Builder Monthly, thank you very much. The magazine did very well in June, and I am currently working in July, the July issue. So if you want to help support the channel, that's definitely a way you can help support the channel. Just hop on over to Wargames Vault and check out the magazine. Now, some of the things I'll be updating on will have to do with July issue of Scratch Builder Monthly, because I have a couple of articles coming that will describe the things that I will show here. So let's go on to our first topic. So our first update is Death Wizards by Snarling Badger Studios. This is a kick-ass little game by Uncle Adam and Vince Venturella. It's a very good game. I've had a lot of fun with it. I played 2 games for the channel and a couple of smaller games that were more practice for me to learn the rules. Those were never filmed. But there's a couple of things that we need to correct in the third video that's coming for Death Wizards. We're going to follow the trail of Rodergast, who is my Necromancer character. And we're gonna see where he goes, how his layer expands, because your necromancers can actually have layers, and these layers expand through time. You can add more things to them. Your layers can be invaded by heroes, and yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Also, we're working on a 2-player Death Wizards, because Julie has her Death Wizard crew already done. She has a spirit caller, necromancer, and some spirits, and they look pretty badass in terms of the stats. So what I would like to update with Death Wizards, if you haven't seen the games, I have a couple of them already posted up, and these are all solo games, but for Death Wizards I do plan on playing every Thursday or every Friday. One of these days will be Necromancer Thursday or Necromancer Friday. Now, if I play on Thursday, that means the game will upload on Friday. If I want the game to upload on Thursday, then I have to play on Wednesday. So I haven't quite yet decided yet, but I would like to do a once-a-week game of Death Wizards so that we can explore these rules, so that I can correct mistakes and kind of we can kind of see a character, Rodergast, climb up, right, through the ranks. And I will be doing the scenarios in the book in order. So we're going to be exploring those scenarios. And I have the suspicion that these scenarios are going to get a lot harder. So if you're interested in Death Wizards and you want to see Death Wizards content, join me. I will announce it in the community tab. You can go right to the community tab here on my channel, and there I usually put some updates and posts, quick posts, and I will update when the next Death Wizard video is. And I may have some new terrain projects for Death Wizards, so check out announcements for Scratch Builder Monthly as well, because most of my scratch building projects are in the magazine right now. The next game news, and some of the stuff will be in the magazine as well. I'm kind of echoing the magazine a little bit. I'll give more detail in the articles. But a supporter, a very lovely supporter, has gifted me a copy of the new Modifius game expansion for 5 Parsecs. Now, this is 5 Parsecs Tactics. It is a digital version, and that's the only way that you can get it right now is digitally. The hard copies of the book will be available in September, from what I am told. So that's something that I may actually invest in because I love 5 Parsecs. And we are playing 5 Parsecs from home on Patreon. So if you like 5 Parsecs and you want to help support the channel as well, you could hop on Patreon or YouTube members. We will have season 2 of the game has started, and this is going to be an interesting season, I think. Already, this first game has some very different things going on. Okay, so my crew has decided to become salvagers, and I think with this new rule set of tactics, you can play bigger armies. You can play add things like vehicles like tanks and mechs, you know, and other vehicles. So I think it's going to be really cool. I mean, I can only imagine Captain Aurora Lyles and her crew riding on board, you know, a vehicle like a Land Raider. So, yeah, that would be very cool. So I have not studied the rules or seen the rules yet. I've skimmed the book. Modifius seems to have done a very good job. It's a very good looking book, and it goes with the presentation of 5 Parsecs 3rd edition. So I want to go over the rules, and then I'll have something here on the channel about those rules. Okay. So the next update that I'd like to give is on a game that I've been playing, a Lord of the Rings game. Now, this is a rule set that I've had in my wargame library for a very long time. Lord of the Rings by GW. This is the 2001 publication of those rules. And I already played a game, and it did well on the channel. People actually seem to like and appreciate these old GW rules. So I would like to continue with that game because I had a lot of fun with that game. And the first game I played were like the Lorien elves versus orcs from Dol Guldur. And this was a made-up battle sometime between the siege, sometime late in the War of the Ring, right before the siege of Lothlorien by Dol Guldur. There are 3 actual sieges. I'd like to play that sometime in the future. And maybe we'll use these rules, or maybe we'll use some other, you know, miniature agnostic rules. That's what I play on this channel, miniature agnostic rules. We'll see. We'll see. But for now, I'm really enjoying these rules, and I'm making more like company, you know, skirmish battles. Right now, they're not very big battles. But I have a new table set up to show, because in the next game, we're going to experiment with a battle that involves orcs from Gundabad and Misty Mountain dwarves. So let's go check out the table real quick and see what it's all about. Okay, so here's the new modular table setup for the upcoming game of Lord of the Rings, and this is a hypothetical or just made-up battle between orcs of Gundabad, and here we have the orcs. They're split into a couple of little units here, orcs on wargs as well. So orcs of Gundabad versus dwarves of the Misty Mountains. Now, I don't have all of the Lord of the Rings miniatures, so I will be doing a lot of, you know, just using whatever miniatures I have to supplement my little collection of Lord of the Rings miniatures. Okay, so it's a very customized Lord of the Rings game. It's just to explore battles in Middle-earth, because Middle-earth is such a broad fantasy. It has so much for a war gamer, there's a lot of interesting battles that take place, okay? And that's not just the stuff we see in the Fellowship of the Ring and stuff, or even the Hobbit, okay? So here is the table, and this is what I really want to talk about. This is a new table setup, and this is set up with my very own modular system that I use. And I'm going to give all the details in the article of Scratch Builder Monthly, July. That's where I'm going to be talking about this. But this is basically, there are boxes in there forming up that hill with the textured cloth, which I make myself. And then all of this like felt roads and felt terrain. A lot of the terrain actually has felt bases instead of hardened bases. So all of this rock terrain that you see here, instead of hard bases, have felt bases, and this allows the terrain to actually flex. This is all spray foam rock. It actually allows it to flex and accommodate the contours of whatever table I'm doing. Entrance to the Dwarven Stronghold. And again, this is super cheap to make with spray foam. I do have to sculpture a little bit of the foam there, so it's a little less stringy. And then paint everything, and this is done. Now, this face of the Dwarven Stronghold is mounted on felt, not on cardboard, not on anything else, but felt. And that allows, you can bend this foam, it break it a little bit in places, and that allows the felt to actually accommodate itself to the contours of the terrain. Baseless trees, like each of these roots, there's a couple of roots that have little needles in them, and so they go right into the foam and secure. It secures the terrain. And we have some like towel bits here and things like this, which then again blend themselves, accommodate into the contours of the terrain. And one cool thing is that felt really likes to attach to things, and so even in a case like this with such a sort of vertical incline, the felt actually still sticks there. So I really like this whole idea of terrain with felt bases. And Simon is here with me in the studio. This is our studio manager, Simon, who's very busy at work, as you can see. Yeah, this is where he decided to lay. Next, that was my Lord of the Rings game that's coming up for the channel. And it won't be a battlefield snapshot. I think it's going to be a standard battle report. So that's usually like 30-35 minutes. It's condensed, but it'll have more information. Battlefield snapshots are usually up to 12 minutes, 13 minutes at most. Okay, they're just little snapshots of the game. But I think I'm going to do a standard report. So now we have a campaign coming for July. Now, Julie has not been feeling her best, but she is improving very much. So we're hoping to do a video that describes how the diplomacy actions are going to work in this game. Now, for those of you that don't know or didn't see the video that I made on this campaign that's coming in July, this is a campaign that involves 2 game rules. The first rule is fantastic battles for all the terrestrial engagements. And then we have Galleys and Galleons by the same author, Nick Wright, for naval battles, because this campaign is going to have naval components and it's going to have a terrestrial component. I've always wanted to do that. Now, to connect those two things, we have a 3-dimensional map that I made, and it's the map of some fantasy coastline. And you can see that in the first video. I described how I made a lot of the little accessories and things that are going to be used in the map. Well, I bought some figures from Pendragon Miniatures. We decided we wanted to do a fantasy world in a world of sort of gunpowder age and that kind of stuff. Okay? Now, for the troops, I chose a Napoleonic figures by Pendragon. And these are really cool. We have an unboxing in that video that's coming, so you guys will see that. And I've been very busy painting miniatures. So I finished about half the army, my army, and I also made some naval warships for this campaign. Why don't we check out those naval warships and come back? Okay, so these are the 3 Navy ships that I have made, and this is Julie's flagship. I still have to finish some painting on it, and then I Mod Podge with a glossy Mod Podge. I do the ocean base, and I still have to finish the base on this one, but I just completed the assembly for this Julie's warship. And these came out pretty cool. Now, these are made on Microsoft Paint. They look like this. Okay, so here is a template. I do all this on Microsoft Paint. Then I cut everything out. I assemble the warship and then paint it. And there we go. You know, it's very easy, very cheap. This is, I mean, as cheap as I can go. I used mesh for the eye ports of the guns, and I even put little guns in there using little glass beads. I gotta do that on the other side, but that's Julie's flagship. And then these are the other warships, which I've shown before. And this is a steam hybrid. This is my flagship, and this is a steam frigate, which I finished. And again, these are made with Microsoft Paint. Now, in the game, these ships here that you see here will also be mixed with some WizKids ships, and just to fill in some gaps. And that's how we will have our naval battles. I would like to make a few more ironclads. That would be really, really cool. Here is a ledge that I'm working on, and basically now I choose a side that's a little straighter, probably this side here, and this is going to be an irregular piece of ledge. I file down that side, you know, cut off some of that foam, make it straight, and I glue my felt to that. This way, once the felt piece is on it, it'll stick right to the sides of one of these mountains that I make, and basically it adorns. I'll have several of these ledges, and it adorns the hillside, but also allows miniatures to actually get on there. And again, the felt does a great job. And if I'm using felt underneath, this is not felt, this is a textured cloth that I made. If I'm using a towel or other felt, it sticks to itself very, very nicely. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're using the properties of felt. Thank you very much. And again, welcome all new subscribers and patrons. I'll see you, Lords of Fantasy. I will see you on the platform with 5 Parsecs. And July Scratch Builder Monthly will be coming out very soon. I'm busy writing that these next few days as well. Have a great one, and thank you for all your support. Have fun on the tabletop.